Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the International Short Course 20 and 23. I am IC Azara as a Master of Ceremony today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To all the participants, thank you so much for joining this International Short Course 20 and 23 with the theme Law in the Age of Digitalization, Expansion, and Regulation. Before we start, let us thanks to the Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Because of His blessing, we are able to join in this International Short Course 20 and 23. Secondly, salawat and salam also delivered to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who has guided us from the darkness into the brightness. The Honorable Professor Supriyono S.Ag, PhD, as the Vice Rector for Corporation and International Affairs of Universitas Muhammadiyah Surakarta, the Honorable Professor Dr. Kelikwardiyono S.H.M.H. as the Dean of Faculty of Law Universitas Muhammadiyah Surakarta, the Honorable for all the wonderful speaker and my beloved participants. Well, ladies and gentlemen, brother and sister, before I start, I would like to read the list of our opening ceremony agenda today. So, the first agenda is opening, and the second agenda is reading of Holy Quran, and the third agenda is singing Indonesia Raya and Sang Surya, and the fourth agenda is opening speech by Professor Supriyono S.Ag, PhD, the Vice Rector for Affairs of Universitas Muhammadiyah Surakarta, and the last agenda is closing of opening ceremony and will be continued into course session. And today we will have two speakers. So, ladies and gentlemen, brother and sister, let's open this International Short Course 20 and 23, Law in the Age of Digitalization, Expansion, and Regulation by saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Now, let's jump into our second agenda. There is reading Holy Quran. It will be read by Gilang Rahmat. So, Gilang Rahmat, time and then screens is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A'udzu billahi minasy syaithanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alam tara ilal ladzina nuhu 'anin najwa thumma ya'uduna lima nuhu 'anhu wa yatanajawna bil ismi wal 'udwan ويتناجوا بالإثم والعدوان ومعصية الرسول وإذا جاءوك حيوك بما لم يحيك به الله ويقولون في أنفسهم لولا يعذبنا الله بما نقول حسبهم جهنم يصلونها فبئس المصير يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا تناجيتم فلا تتناجوا بالإثم والعدوان ومعصية الرسول وتناجوا بالبر والتقوى واتقوا الله الذي إليه تحشرون إنما النجوى من الشيطان ليحزن الذين آمنوا وليس بضارهم شيئا إلا بإذن الله وعلى الله فليتوكل المؤمنون يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا قيل لكم تفسحوا في المجالس فافسحوا يفسح الله لكم وإذا قيل انشزوا فانشزوا يرفع الله الذين آمنوا منكم والذين أوتوا العلم درجات والله بما تعملون خبير صدق الله العظيم. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much, Gilang. May we all get syafaat in this life, here and after. Amin. Ladies and gentlemen, the next agenda is Sing a Song Indonesia Raya and Sang Surya. Both you please mute your microphone first and then standing in your place and sing together. Thank you very much for all the participants. Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth agenda is opening speech from Professor Supriyono S.T.M.T. PhD, the Vice Rector for Corporation and International Affairs of Universitas Muhammadiyah Surakarta. Professor Supriyono S.T.M.T. PhD, the time and the screen is yours.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajmain. The Honorable all speakers, the Honorable the Dean of the Faculty of Law, Professor Kelik Wardiono, all participants, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to appreciate the Faculty of Law and the community for organizing this very important event, which is international short course. The topic is law in the age of digitalization. Secondly, it is my honor for me to speak in front of all of you. Law in the age of digitalization, where the era we are living in today is the era of information technology, and everything we do is dependent on it. One very common example, for example, I think we are very worried if we left our mobile, then compare if we left our laptop currently. It is important to understand and implement the right law so that we can ensure every individual is protected and have their right upheld. Digitalization also brought with it new opportunities and challenges that requires the law to adapt and adopt new measures to address new issues. We have seen a great rise in cases related to cyberbullying, identity theft, data breaches, and many other online offenses. It is important now that we strengthen our legal system and create law that can protect people from this type of crimes. The law is very important in ensuring justice and fairness in any society. This holds true even in this age of digitalization. We need to have lawyers who are trained efficiently to handle the nuances of cyber law and understand the complexity that rise with digitalization. We need to develop new laws that protect people's privacy, intellectual property, and personal information. Therefore, in this short course in law in the age of digitalization, I think you will learn about how the legal system addresses online crimes, what the legislation is in regard to that data privacy and intellectual property, and what legal consequences individuals or organizations may face for violating or abusing these laws. In conclusion, digitalization is not only a technological advancement, but is also a social issue that requires serious attention. Law and legal system need to be strong enough to protect individuals and society from the negative impact of the digital era. With our collective effort, we can make society safer place for all. I think this very important event will give us understanding how law can be implemented in digital era. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'll back the time to MC.
Thank you so much, Prof. Supriyono, for your wonderful speech. Ladies and gentlemen, brother and sister, finally, now we have reached the end of this opening ceremony today. Thank you very much for all the participants for your active participation. Let's close this opening ceremony by reciting Hamdalah together. I'm, as the master of ceremony, absolutely have many mistakes. I do apologize. My God bless us forever. After this, we'll be continue into the core session. Today we will have two wonderful speakers. The first will be delivered by Professor Zakhiri from Universiti Utara, Malaysia, with the topic Islamic Financial Institution and the Digital Economy. And the second will be delivered by Professor Jeremy Kingsley from Western Sydney University Law School, Australia, with the topic Digital Technologies and Contract Law, Impact and Legal Challenges. So to all the participants, please join Zoom on time on the link course session that has been shared in the group WhatsApp. And the course session will be moderated by Mr. Junaidi S.Ag SHMA. And the last, I will say again, thank you very much for your attention. See you again in another agenda. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, thank you, Miss Aisy, who given us to control this section. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah hamdan na'imin hamdan syakirin hamdan yuafi ni'mahu wa yukafi mazidah. Walakal hamdu walakal syukru kama yanbaghi li jalali wajhikal karim wa azimi sultanik. Allahumma sholli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad wa man tabi'ahu bi ihsani ila yaumil ma'ad. The Honorable, the Vice Rector for Muhammadiyah University Surakarta, and the Honorable, the Dean of Law Faculty, Professor Dr. Klip Wardiono, and the Honorable, the speakers today, I'll start Professor Dr. Zakhiri Muhammad Noor, and the respectable all of the participants on the international short course. For the first, let thanks to Allah because of the blessing we can attend on this program, even via Zoom, and peace be upon to our Prophet, our best example, Nabi Muhammad SAW, who guide us from the darkness and darkness. And of course, with the Islam, we can live together harmony, even we are different. And the last, I would like to thank very much to our speakers, Professor Dr. Zakhiri, Muhammad Noor, who pleased to share his knowledge about Islamic finance. Before going to the main program, allow me here to refer the short speech about Islam, of course. Islam is religion not only teach us how to make the good relation between the creator and creator and his creation, but also Islam teach us how to build the good relation among human being and universe. And also here include talking about Islamic finance. And Islam has contributed to the world civilization. In this section, the honorable speakers will deliver about Islamic financial, institutional, and the digital economic. And the last, let me here read for you the CP of speakers. The name our speakers today, Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Zakhiri in an academician, the School of Law, Universiti Utara, Malaysia. He was appointed to the AIAC arbitration rules 222 revision committee of the Asian International Arbitration Center. He was also a CEO, faculty fellow, flagship program under the Minister of Education Malaysia. He is also an associate member of the Association of Sharia Advisors in Islamic Finance Malaysia, and also a member of Chartered Institute of Islamic Finance Professional. And he is also an Islamic finance consultant to a few legal firms and editorial board for reputable journal. His area of research inter alia Islamic law of banking and finance, Islamic capital market, takaful, Islamic financial technology law, and Sharia studies. He holds a PhD in Islamic finance from M.Ag University. Earlier, he graduated from International Islamic University, Reading, Master of Comparative Laws and Chartered Islamic Finance Professional from M.Ag University, and Islamic Financial Planner from IBFIM. Is also a Sharia Council and of the Federal Territory of Kuala Lumpur, and was admitted to the Malaysia Board in 2005. This is about the short CV of our speakers today. And for the times is yours, Muhammad Zakhiri, Professor Muhammad Zakhiri M. Noor. For the section, we divide three sections. For the first, delivering the material, and the second, Q&A, question and what, and the third is closing. Maybe the first section take time maybe 45 minutes, and after that maybe Q&A and closing. Okay, thank you for attention, and please for Professor Dr. Muhammad Zakhiri M. Noor, the time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First and foremost, Honorable Deputy Rector and the Dean of the School of Law, Faculty of Law, Muhammadiyah, Surakarta University, Mr. Chairman, and all international participants, local participants. First and foremost, I would like to thank to everyone for giving me this opportunity to share some thought and some of my observation with regards to the topic that you give to me, that is Islamic financial institution and digital economy. So as perhaps the Mr. Chairman, can you share the slide?
Okay.
And can we go the first slide,
Oh yes.
the title and all that.
Okay. Yes.
So I'm Zakhiri from Universiti Utara, Malaysia. This is a northern University of Malaysia that is close to Universiti Utara, Malaysia. And I'm also a research fellow, currently being appointed as a research fellow at Institute of Sharia and Governance of Islamic Finance. So the topic that given to me is on Islamic financial institution and digital economy. I will talk on with regards to Malaysia perspective. So and legal system that we have in Malaysia. So as we know that Malaysia's inherit from British colonial, so we are in the common law system. We have dual legal system, that is common law legal system as well as Sharia law system. But the sad thing is that Sharia is only legal into what family matters with regards to marriage and whatnot. But as far as banking and financial institution is concerned, this is under federal matters, and this is under the purview of the conventional banking framework. Because in Malaysia, we have dual banking system, conventional banking as well as Islamic banking. So if you see the financial institution in Malaysia is developing, so we start off Islamic banking in Malaysia way back in 1980 with the establishment of this Islamic bank. And then we have Bank Muamalat. And then we have how we grow the Islamic banking financial institution in Malaysia through the establishment of window. So for example, we have conventional bank, we set up with the window. So for example, those days we have Maybank Islamic. Now we have Maybank Sdn Berhad. Now we have Maybank Islamic. We have CIMB Bank. Now we have CIMB Islamic. So we start with the window within the context of Maybank. Now they both and have separate entity. So we start with the window. So now we have the banking and finance institution and Islamic banking institution growth steadily. And then we also allow foreign bank operate in Malaysia, like Mizuho Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, and then we have HSBC, Amanah, and the like. So given the topic today, we're talking about digital banking. But how the question here is, how do we define the digital banking? So Tan Sri Nur Samsyah Muhammad Yusof, that is the governor of Malaysia, defined digital banking as, when we talk about digital bank, it is about nothing. It is about not having a physical presence at all, physical bank, not the brick and mortar type. All banking services and transactions will be delivered through internet or other forms of electronic channels instead of physical branches. So what bank did, how they spread, and how they had. So that is basically, in other words, we are running digital banking without the presence of physical bank. Everything will be mobilized via internet infrastructures and facilities. So that is digital banking as defined by Tan Sri Nur Samsyah Muhammad Yunus. That is a governor Bank Negara Malaysia. So there are many various proposition with regards to the digital banking in finance framework. We have mobile money and e-wallet. All right, e-wallet. There is a mobile money. This is some sort of innovation, right? Those days, all the trading are via barter trade. We don't have physical money. And then after the debt declaration, after the World War 1945, because of the difficulties that we have and face in barter trading, so people start invented fiat money, fiat currency. We have Malaysian ringgit, US dollar, Japanese yen, Indonesian rupiah, and whatnot. So the question is that all this fiat money does not back by the gold and silver, right? So the price it depreciate over values over time. And then the things keep evolving and having innovation in that sense. People create credit card to represent the money, and we have debit card and the like. So that is basically the innovation that we have. So you see, as far as Malaysian contact is concerned, we embedded what we call e-wallet in our banking institutions. And of course, in Malaysia, we have e-money guideline. And then, and currently people talking about cryptocurrency and blockchain. So it's basically director whether cryptocurrency is a currency or is merely a digital asset for that matter. So that is basically the current position that we have. We're talking about mobile money, all right? And as far as Malaysia is concerned, Central Bank of Malaysia issued the guideline, we call it e-money guideline. So if you want to be the e-wallet issuer, you need to comply with all the e-money guideline standards as issued by Central Bank of Malaysia. The same applies to e-wallet. E-wallet meaning representing the physical purse that we have. So physical purse that we have is merely a wallet in digital form. And then we have another proposition that we have is like blockchain and smart contract. All right. And then what is basically a blockchain and how the thing has been transacted via the systems and the contract, e-contract that we have. And of course, in the meantime, we triggers a lot of legal issues with regards to the smart contract that we have. And then we're talking about cross-border remittance, right? Where the payments between Malaysia to Indonesia, what are the issues? All these things are been transacted via online. And then we have cloud, all the storage of the data, and then how we manage the alternative credit scoring. Of course, before the bank giving a certain financing facility, of course, the bank will check your credit rating, whether you were poor credit rating or you were bad credit rating. So everything is being evaluated. Say, for example, you use your smartphone, you key in all the data, and the digital bank will screen about your profile, your credit scoring. So within a split second, so they can disburse, do some remittance in short while and whatnot. And then they have biometric, and they have a lot of data about your personal data. The question is that whether the data has been stolen, whether your data be well kept in the system, or is there any breach of the data and the like. So as far as the digital banking transaction proposition is concerned, people talking about mobile money, e-wallet, blockchain, smart contract, cross-border remittance, cloud, alternative credit scoring, biometric, and the like. So category of digital banking. So as I mentioned to you, digital banking, has been developed, and many literatures talking about the functionality and the utility of the banking itself. Banking itself. So as far as new bank is concerned, whether it is a new bank system at all that replace the regular bank, the traditional banking that we have. So as far as new bank is concerned, new bank can be defined full banking licenses are offering the same services as traditional banking. So the only question is that it has been traded as digital banking, but all the businesses, services been offered by the new bank is similar with regular bank or rather traditional bank that we have. And then another term, we call it as neo bank, where neo bank it is the bank do not have a banking license, but partner with financial institution to offer bank license services. Right? So this we call it neo bank. Is become a partner. So because they don't get the license, but this become the partner to the financial institution that where the bank institution have license services as a bank. And then we have beta bank. Beta bank is defined as joint ventures or subsidiaries of existing financial institution that offer financial services through the parent company's license. So we have new bank, neo bank, beta bank, and then we have another financial institution category, we call it is non-bank, where non-bank is basically there is no connection to the traditional banking license at all. Instead, they provide financial services by other means, right? It's not financial institution, but is provide digital banking by other means. In other words, it got caught by the e-money guideline and whatnot, like Touch and Go and some other, Starbucks. They got some digital transaction because they not offer another product except its own product itself. So, so as far as developing digital banking in Malaysia, this is basically in lines with the shared prosperity vision 2030, where in this shared prosperity vision 2030 identified Islamic finance and the digital economy as one of the key economic growth activity that will be focused by government of Malaysia. So in other words, it is not talking about digital banking, called regular banking and whatnot. We're talking about the digital banking because the digital banking will become the new normal, especially after the post-pandemic, where it reached to the unbankable or remote areas where general public at all will be able to enjoy the digital banking services where that all the services and facilities where the digital banking can offer. So, of course, Central Bank of Malaysia issue the new digital banking guidelines on the 31st December 2023, talking about the needs of digital banking, we're talking about capital adequacy. Of course, whether the capital is enough and whatnot, the bank also need to maintain some liquidity ratios. They do the stress testing and public disclosures, because we're talking about the fairness. The Islamic banking businesses and finance need to be conducted with the full disclosure and fairness. And the bank also need to maintain some liquidity ratio and capital accuracy, so that the digital banking also does not face the problems of insolvency and whatnot. And of course, as far as Sharia governance of digital banking is concerned, the bank is required to appoint at least 3 Sharia committee members, and they need to have 2 times convene a meeting in a year. So the duty of the Sharia committee members is to ensure all the transactions offered by the digital banking is basically a Sharia compliance. So perhaps you can read more about the digital banking guidelines issued by Central Bank of Malaysia as per 31st December 2023. And then Bank Negara Malaysia also issued financial services blueprint, that is 2022 and 2023, So you see, they got the 5 strategic trusts, but strategic trust number 3, we're talking about advancing digitalization of financial sector, because it has become the future proof of the key digital infrastructures. So the government need to develop the all the infrastructures about the to support the growth of digital banking in terms of internet facilities, feasibilities, and whatnot. The second one is to support a vibrant digital services landscape, and then strengthening cybersecurity readiness and responsiveness, because of course the systems need to be heavily regulated, because to avoid the cyber security threat and offenses, so that there is a need to strengthen the cybersecurity readiness and responsiveness to protect the consumer, the investors at the larger scale, and then support greater usage of technology for regulation and supervision. So at the moment, we have the industry of Islamic finance is heavily regulated, and we have issued all the guidelines and parameters where the bank need to comply with. So the same thing applies to the digital banking. So Malaysia at the moment, we have one major law. We have to govern the conventional banking and Islamic banking. But as far as conventional banking is concerned, it is governed by Financial Services Act 2013. But under under Financial Services Act 2013, the Central Bank of Malaysia allowed to establish digital banking by virtue of consortium. So at the moment, they passed 3 licenses for consortium of Boost Holdings Sdn Bhd and RHB Bank Berhad. Second, consortium led by S.Ag Bank Party Limited and Corp Brothers Sdn Bhd. This is a partner with the industries. And then consortium led by C Limited and YTL Digital Capital Sdn Bhd. So this is basically digital banking conventional that been established under Financial Services Act 2013. So this one is conventional digital banking. Government of Malaysia agreed to issue 3 licenses to these 3 digital banking. First, consortium of Boost Holdings, Sdn Bhd and RHB. This is some sort of partnership with the Boost Holding. So Boost is one of the champion, the leading of digital transaction and whatnot, partnered with RHB Bank Berhad. Second, a consortium led by GSX Bank Party Limited and Corp Brothers Sdn Bhd, one of the big companies in Malaysia, Corp Brothers. And the third one is consortium led by C Limited and YTL Digital Capitalization Berhad. So in a nutshell, the Central Bank of Malaysia, Government of Malaysia already agreed and issued license for these 3 conventional digital banking under the Financial Services Act 2013. But as far as Islamic digital banking, okay, the government issued 2 licenses. This is one is under Islamic Financial Services Act 2013. Then Central Bank of Malaysia and the government agreed to issue 2 licenses. Only 2 licenses given to the Islamic digital banking to consortium of Eon Financial Services Co Limited, Eon Credit Services Berhad, and Money Lion Incorporation. And second one is that consortium led by KAF Investment Bank Sdn Berhad. So in total, we have 5 digital banking as far as 2023, and 3 digital license for conventional digital banking and 2 for Islamic digital banking, where there is a requirement for these 2 Islamic digital banking to appoint Sharia committee members, at least 3 Sharia committee members, as to ensure the entire operation, businesses and services offered by digital banking are basically Sharia compliant. So what are digital banking can offers? What are the product and services it can offers? Is it the same like conventional banking? So as far as conventional banking is concerned, normal banking, regular banking that we have, Malaysia is very unique. We established a bank for specific purpose. We have retail banking that, like consumer banking. I think in Indonesia, we call it bank for consumer. Retail banking, we call it retail banking. And then we have corporate banking, investment banking to cater all the businesses and corporates. And then we have in Malaysia, we established for specific purpose. The bank for, we call it agro bank. This is a bank that give financing for all the farmers. And then we have SME bank, the bank that established for small, medium enterprise. And then we have SME, we have Exim Bank that to give financing for import and export activities. And then we have development bank that caters for, infrastructures building in Malaysia. So in other words, Malaysian government established the bank for specific purpose, be it retail banking, consumer banking, be it corporate banking, banking for the farmers, the banking for import and export activities. So that is basically the nature of the banking. But what are the digital banking services that can offer? So of course, as we're talking about financing, as far as Islamic digital banking is concerned, but in digital banking, conventional, we call it lending activities. So for lending activities, they have what they call ethic crowds, funding societies, you know, and uh, and this is basically providing marketplace lending and alternative underwriting platforms, because everything will be conducted via internet, digital. So as far as lending activities is concerned, we're talking about marketplace lending and alternative underwriting platforms. This is normally done by ethic crowds, fund this capital bay funding societies and whatnot. And then talking about Sharia, Sharia, talking about Sharia robo advisory for decision making, because all the fatwa Sharia resolution are handling by a robot, by a robot. So we're talking about Sharia robo advisory for decision making. So normally, we have one company, we call it Slick, Slick. And then we have RegTech. So what is basically the business of RegTech is basically to cater the activity of audit, risk, regulatory compliance tools. We call it RegTech. Because of course, in the banking system, in the central bank system, we have audit function, risk compliant function, and regulatory compliant function. But as far as digital banking, we employed RegTech that replace the activity of audit, risk, and regulatory compliance tools. But this one is offered by many, like for example, Safe Science, Facta, Data Robo, Infido, all these companies supporting, all these stakeholders supporting the digital banking activities. And then we have about mortgage, mortgage lending, digitalization as a financing tools. But as far as mortgage is concerned, we're talking about this digital partnership that support digital banking activities like Float, Upstart, Nobly, and whatnot. So digital banking also doing remittance activity, that is transferring international money, transfer and tracking tools. As far as digital banking system, they will be able to do international money remittances, transfer, and tracking tools. This one normally do by the company, we call it Triangle, World Remit, and Yellow to support the activity of digital banking. Then another activity of digital banking is that wealth management activity, where wealth management, you're talking about investments and wealth management platform through digital banking. Everything will be done through digital. We have the company like Wahid, Forward Land, 2 Minute, Westfront to support the activity of digital banking. On top of that, digital banking also been used, to what they call payment processing for card developers and subscription billing tools and whatnot, so that the general customer will be able to pay all the payment bill, daily bill and whatnot. And of course, they got some companies to support the digital banking activities. On top of that, we're talking about the personal financing, where as far as digital banking is concerned, talking about tools to manage and bills and track personal and credit accounts and whatnot. And so that is basically the activities, the services the digital banking offers to general public, ranging for various activities, talking about financing and lending, talking about Sharia compliance, but then it will be conducted by Robo Sharia, RICTAC about the security, audit activity, mortgage, remittance, wealth management, payment billing, personal financing, insurance or Islamic takaful, data analytic and whatnot. But the only difference is that everything is to be conducted via digital nature. But conventional banking offer all these things. But the thing is that now digital banking also replicate the businesses of regular banking, but everything will be catered in digital form. Because digital banking in essence is that good and doing businesses via internet and online activities. And of course, there got some companies that support the entire modus operandi, the services that digital banking offers. So if you see some survey that has been monitored, why people opt to the digital banking. So you say, for example, is it because of easy to set up an account? So if you go to conventional banking, sometimes you stay in remote area. You need to spend even how many hours to go to the bank, to open an account, and required you to pay some money, because the notion of the bank is that money creation. Say, for example, you want to open the current account or saving account, you need to fill up the form, right? Traditionally. And of course, you need to pay in advance the administrative fee. So the bank take the money and use your money as money creation, right? So lots of effort need to be made, time consuming and the like. So many forms, so many requirements. Say, for example, you want to open the current account. Of course, you need to have the witness, someone that give you the recommendation that you have strong businesses, so that only then you'll be able to open your current account. So, but digital banking is different story in nature. So I think 43% respondents says this is easy to set up an account as far as digital banking is concerned. All right. So in terms of, is it because of another factor, is it more attractive rates and fees? So for example, personal financing. If you opt for digital banking, whether digital banking offer good rates, good profit rates, good margin, is it required a collateral and whatnot? And then talking about fees, does the bank, impose some additional administrative fees against you? So the feedback from respondents is why they opt to digital banking. They says the rates and fees offered by digital banking is more attractive than conventional banking. So that's why they go and opt for digital banking. And then talking about access to different product and services. You can go to various product and services offered. But in digital banking, in conventional banking, if you say, for example, you take financing from Bank Negara Indonesia, for example, or Maybank CIMB Niaga Indonesia, for example, you take home financing facilities. But the moment you take the financing, you'll be surprised the bank keep calling you, offering different products and facilities like credit card, personal loan, and whatnot. You go to the bank for only one loan. That you want to buy a house, you want to get the housing facility, but you fill out the form, the bank already approved the loan. Then suddenly, you see the bankers keep calling you. The practice is cross-selling. But having digital banking, you yourself at freedom because you can access different product and services offered by the bank freely because everything is conducted by digital banking. There is no the type of cross-selling activities by the bankers themselves. And then talking about better quality services. Of course, it is every click a button, But in the banking system, you need to queue up. Sometimes you don't bring the necessary documentation. But in digital banking, it's a matter of clicking the button. Even you want to agree with the term and condition about clicking the button. So the only hiccup is that whether you yourself a computer savvy, whether you computer savvy and friendly, you'll be able to use that particular facilities. In other words, digital banking giving better experience for young generation. But old generation, they need to adopt to the changes that happen in the market. Whether you like it or not, we need to adapt ourselves to the changes that nowadays people talking about digital banking. So from the data shows that it's easy to set up an account, is offer more attractive rate and services. You can access to different products and services via online splitly. So you have experience quality services and having better experience than regular banking. Right. Can we move to the next slide? So now we just want to talk about the e-wallet in digital banking. But as far as Malaysia is concerned, if you want to have, digital wallet that offering e-wallet services, so you need to get the approval by Central Bank of Malaysia. All right, Central Bank of Malaysia. So it's called under e-money guidelines. So you need to fulfill some requirements before you can sub e-wallet. So e-wallet, for example, you take the money from general public. All right. So you e-wallet operator. All right. You take the money and then you invest on trust. You invest the money in the trust account. You open the trust account in regular bank. So you offer e-wallet platform to general public. All right. In other words, you take the money. So in the small e-wallet, the small amount is from 10 ringgit to 1,500 ringgit. So larger e-wallet, larger purse, we call it from 1,500 up to 5,000. So you take the money, all right, you put in the e-wallet, e-wallet bank instead of the account of the bank. But you as an e-wallet operator, you hold the money on trust and then you open the trust account at regular bank, right? So of course, it triggers a lot of issues, whether it is Sharia compliant or non-Sharia compliant. So you as an e-wallet operator, if you want to help the general public, to pay, so for example, you buy some products through Shopee and whatnot, you have e-wallet platforms, so it's basically to pay to all the merchandises, right? So how e-wallet operators take some profit, of course, normally from the merchandises, right? And of course, as to ensure the profit is Sharia compliant, of course, you need to do the product and services is Sharia compliant. You cannot trade liquor, gambling matters, all illegal items and whatnot. When you take the money, you just create the e-wallet platform. So you need to invest the money in the Sharia current account in the regular bank. So all the profit is basically belong to the fund of the customer fund. Okay. So the problem here triggers if the consumer died. So how to withdraw the money, because the legal has of the disease need to know the account numbers and whatnot, because it's in digital form. Be it in the cryptocurrency, blockchain, you trade with Ethereum, you need to know the key. Only then you'll be able to enter into the platform. So that is basically some of the issues. Sometimes the system also been, hacked. They got the track hacking scammers. So you need to be careful when talking about e-wallet. So what happened if the e-wallet operator insolvent or is run away? So what happened to the money? You know, so say for example, e-wallet operator also change the identity, change its identity, the takeovers and mergers, e-wallet operator insolvent. So what happened to the server in e-wallet platform? So are the issues that perhaps we need to be explored, because whether the money in e-wallet is guaranteed. If you are putting in the general operator, the private, is not caught under the banking institution. But in Malaysia, we have the bank that offer e-wallet like Maybank, MBSB. So it's under the purview of Central Bank of Malaysia. In other words, whatever money that you put in wallet is guaranteed and insured by PIDM, Perbadanan Insurans Malaysia Berhad, as far as so long as it is considered as putting in the saving account, right? But if current account, it is not, protected. But e-wallet under the banking finance institution more secured as compared to the private companies, private entities. But even though it's been licensed by e-money guideline by the Central Bank of Malaysia. But of course, another operator, they put the services of e-wallet, but it's not cater for billing or other merchandises. Say for example, Starbucks. So they give you the card where replacing, the e-wallet as kind of you put your money, Starbucks give the card, but every time you just top up to pay the services, the drinks, offered by Starbucks. But in that case, you only be able to use the e-wallet to buy the Starbucks products, not other products. But if the Starbucks want to offer to pay another products, bill, Celcom, whatever, telephone bill, electricity bills and whatnot, the Starbucks need to get the e-money license by Central Bank of Malaysia. So this is the more or less the framework of e-wallet. But I hope everyone knows what is basically e-wallet. This is basically replacing the physical purse or the account that we have in the bank, right? You only put your money in the e-wallet operator, and the e-wallet operator take your money, invest your money in the current account, and they hold the money on trust as a trustee, as a trustee. And how e-wallet operator make money? And of course, some portion from merchandises, from the merchandises. So whether it's tracking a lot of issues, ribawi items and the like, so you need to comply with this Sharia requirements. So that is basically one of the innovation that we have, e-wallet. Another aspect that we're talking about now, cryptocurrency. So a cryptocurrency in Malaysia, whether this is under the purview of Central Bank of Malaysia or Securities Commission of Malaysia. First question is that whether cryptocurrency is a currency, right? From Malaysian perspective, cryptocurrency is not a currency simply because it's not fulfill for function of one of the function of money, that is store of value. So that we cannot consider cryptocurrency as a currency. We merely trade cryptocurrency in Malaysia as digital asset. It's not a currency. It's not a money, but then it's merely a digital asset. That's why it's been regulated by Securities Commission of Malaysia. But at the moment, Securities Commission of Malaysia only allow 4 types of cryptocurrency. One of it, you call it Luno. Luno. So if you open the Luno account and do some trading and platform through Luno cryptocurrency, so you need to comply with all the parameters and requirements. But of course, they need to follow the Sharia requirements, the requirements of BIOS, Saraf, trading with currency. So they caught with the fiat money and ribawi laws items you need to comply with. So Securities Commission also passed the what we call Sharia resolution, where it's a duty of the consumer at large to exercise their due care and diligence. And they need to know about the strengths of the system of the Luno or the cryptocurrency operator, the modus operandi. Is there any element of fraud and whatnot during the data mining and the like? So that is basically the precautionary action that will be taken by consumer at large. But if you trade with this 4 types of currency that allowed by, then you'll be protected as a consumer. But if you trade with other type of cryptocurrency, so it's not being protected by Securities of Malaysia. If anything happen to you, so you are less protected for that matter. So that is basically, can we pass the next slide? I think we almost come to the conclusion. So as conclusion, the technology develop very fast. So we need to adapt ourselves to the technologies. Otherwise we left behind. Those days we don't bother to use the smartphone. Now it seems that from director speech, people cannot live without the smartphone, the laptop, and whatnot. So whether we like it or not, we need to learn the technology. It's a part of us. So digital banking is basically to complement the regular banking. We're not trying to say that to replace the conventional banking, because the conventional banking already existed. They have, very solid infrastructure, sound system, and whatnot. So what I'm trying to say is that I only view that digital banking is just to complement whatever regular banking offers, but the entire business operate via internet and digital technology and the like. So there is a strong relationship between financial technology and banking. So we need to, take precautionary action measures, be careful. We come into Sharia aspect of digital banking. So that's why there is an urgent need. The Sharia aspect of digital banking need to be further explored and studied by scholars and the players at large in the industry. So with that, I conclude my presentation with thanks to everyone, to Muhammadiyah Surakarta University. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation today, Professor Dr. Zakhiri. Yeah, is talking about much about the Islamic banking digital in Malaysia, I think. Yeah, maybe if we see the calculation, yeah, technology develop very fast. We can avoid from the digital banking today. Yeah, because every time everywhere if we go to market to the mall, yeah, we don't use the money physically, and today much we use the e-wallet. Um, okay, maybe I open to the Q&A for the participant. If you have question, feel free to ask Ms. Professor Dr. Zakhiri. Okay, please. Nicholas first. Okay, for the participant, if you have a question, feel free to ask Professor Dr. Mohd. Okay, maybe I want to ask first, Professor. Uh, uh, so we have listened about the presentation about the digital banking and professional digital banking. I think is in Indonesia we have OJK. OJK is supervising to the bank in Indonesia. How about in Malaysia? Yeah, e-wallet. Yeah, in Indonesia wallet is there is Oppo, Dana, and etc. In how about in Malaysia about e-wallet? Is there is station supervise the e-wallet or how in Malaysia? I think this was my question.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the good question. So as far as banking and financial institution is concerned, in Malaysia, we have Sharia Advisory Council at the Central Bank of Malaysia. All right. So they pass all the Sharia resolution and to cater all the products, be it murabaha, be it tawaru, be it ijara, and the like. So as far as banking institution is concerned, digital banking is concerned, they already passed what they call 2 license for the digital banking. So this digital banking need to offer all the Islamic financial services facility that comply with Sharia compliant, that comply with all the Sharia resolution passed by Central Sharia Advisory Council at the Bank Negara. At Bank Negara. And in other words, say for example, I put the example just now, they give what they call personal financing, digital banking financing. So of course, they need comply with the requirement of tawaru or murabaha, even though it's run by digital banking, by the digital banking. But as far as e-wallet is concerned, digital banking just now, one of the license requirement is that the digital banking need to appoint their own Sharia committee, at least 3 members. And then these 3 members need to convene 2 times a year, a meeting as to ensure the entire product, services, facilities offered by Islamic digital banking are complied with Sharia and Sharia resolution by Sharia Advisory Council of Central Bank of Malaysia. So coming back to e-wallet, if the e-wallet in Malaysia, they have got 2 Islamic bank that offer e-wallet services, Maybank and MBSB. All right. So this is a must for them to appoint the Sharia committee members for e-wallet operator, so that the entire product and services is basically Sharia compliant. But for other operator, right, they need to comply with the e-money guideline. So for example, in fact, if you want to get the e-wallet license, you need to comply the Sharia resolution issued by Central Bank of Malaysia, Central Sharia Advisory Council body, and state fatwa. All right. So the ruling is basically permissible so long they comply with Sharia requirement as issued by Central Bank of Malaysia. Even though they are a private e-wallet operator, but then you need to comply with fatwa. Fatwa issued by Sharia bodies in Malaysia. All right. I hope I answered you.
Okay, thank you, Professor, for your explanation. Okay, in the column there are two questions for you, Professor. For the first from Park ini from Seoul ya. They should call Park from Seoul ya. There are three questions from him. Okay, I read for you, Professor. Good afternoon, Professor Zakhiri. I would like to ask several questions. The first, does the interest rate set by each bank revert to and must be below to the national bank interest rate for its country? The second, what will happen if the bank provides interest on customer deposit and pays above that set by the national bank? Does it any do Islamic-based financial institutions also use the same concept? Okay, this is the first question from Park, from Seoul, I think, from Korea. And the second from Asep Supeno, ini from West Java, Jawa Barat, Sunda. The question is, the first, will Islamic banking principle be able to continue to face the development of digital technology? And the second, what is the Islamic banking strategy in competing with other conventional banks? They are the question for you, Prof.
Thank you very much for the question from Park from Korea. Very good question. So there is a very clear distinction between Islamic bank and conventional bank in Malaysia. So as far as conventional banking is concerned, they are allowed to take interest, to give interest and whatnot, and whatnot. But if you realize after the enforcement of Financial Services Act 2013, all right, the bank in Malaysia, you put your money in the saving account, the bank will not give you any profit or interest at all, be it conventional or conventional banking. But if you want to earn some profit, some return, you need to open the current account. But as far as conventional banking is concerned, you open the current account, the bank will give you some return. But in Islamic bank, okay, if you want to get some return or profit, you need to open the current account. But the principle is different. All right? You need to treat it the same as conventional banking. Conventional banking, you open the current account, that is it, they give you profit. They give you return, interest, whatever. But in conventional banking, in Islamic banking, you open the current account, you still get the profit, but the principle is different. Okay. In Malaysia, you open the current account, the underlying principle is that we call it Mudarabah. Mudarabah, meaning you give the capital, the bank run for you, act as an agent for you to run the business. If you any profit, only then we share with you. Right? So that is basically a clear difference between conventional banking and Islamic banking. So if you open the current account, be it conventional, you open the saving account, be it conventional or Islamic, they don't give any profit. But if you as a general consumer, you want to get some return, you need to open the current account. But as far as conventional banking is concerned, the bank just give you any profit that you like. All right. But if you want to get the halal profit, halal income, all right, for as a Muslim, you open your current account in the conventional bank. you got the interest, but this interest cannot consider income over you. All these things need to be channeled to charity. This is prohibited income. Might as well, in this case, you are a Muslim, you need to open the current account under the principle of mudarabah. They give some profit, only then you can treat as an income. So they got different treatments between Islamic bank and conventional bank. All right. So whatever interest in conventional bank, you need to be channeled to charity. As a Muslim, you cannot take it. All right. But in saving account, it's under the principle of mudarabah. You can take a profit as income. All right. So that is basically I hope you answered your first question. But as far as profit rate is more or less the same, be it conventional banking or Islamic banking, because the Central Bank of Malaysia want to ensure the market harmony. They don't create havoc in the market. Say, for example, if conventional banking give high profit, Islamic bank give low profit. So, of course, they got bank run. People withdraw from Islamic bank and put the money in conventional banking. All right. So, to avoid this, the profit rate and interest rate in conventional banking more or less the same. The only difference is that the underlying contract, in conventional banking and Islamic banking, you got different principles, different portfolio, how to manage the account itself. So in conventional banking, second question, all right, in conventional banking, profit is given, but under Islamic bank, interest is not is prohibited. Interest is prohibited. You will not call it the interest because they do the trading. They do the trading. In conventional banking, is the principle is loan. Is loan. Is loan. Right? But under Islamic principle, whatever loan that derive profit considered as a profit, as a riba. So you cannot earn an income. Kullu qardin jara naf'an fahuwa riba. But the new trade is that we do the business. To do business in the sense via murabahah concept, via tawaruk concept. All right? Or is through partnership, through mudarabah or musyarakah, or is it based on the agency? We call it wakalah. So that is how Islamic banking derive the profit. But as far as conventional banking, it doesn't matter. Profit interest is allowed, But as a Muslim, you open the current account in the conventional bank, you cannot take it as income. It's prohibited for you because of religious teaching. So the way Islamic bank, conventional banking is doing business is different. It's different. How do you intermediate with the money? All right. I hope I answered your second question.
Okay, thank you.
Use the same concept, different concept altogether. I hope I answered part question. Now I try to answer Mr. Asip Sumpeno.
Asep Supeno.
All right.
Yeah, right.
So of course, whether we like or not, digital banking will be there. So even Islamic bank, they need to use the technology. Otherwise, they will left behind. Because every general public investor, they do the technology, cross-border transaction and the like. So as far as Islamic banking is concerned, of course, in Malaysia, most of the financing is based on the principle of tawaru. They got sequence of transaction and whatnot. And this technology helps, all right, to avoid human error. Human error. So if there is a lapse, technical glitch in the operation, it make the entire sequence of the contract, as far as murabah or tawaru is concerned, the contract is void at all. So that in other words, I think the technology will help to minimize human error. Human error. But of course, the bank need to invest because as far as from bank perspective, you want to adopt the technologies, the features, of course, it costs money. The operating cost to the bank. All right. So maybe some of the bank, they do it piece by piece to cater the needs and whatnot. Because to adopt the IT software is costing to the bank. All right, but to me, having digital technology will help, general public at large, consumers, and minimize the human error. So Islamic banking will ELPA. ELPA, that's basically the direction. I see the movement in Malaysia. People opt the technology spectrum. Well, in Malaysia, second question. In Malaysia, we run Islamic banking, conventional banking in parallel. The board directors, the bank negara will give you equal treatment, whether conventional banking and whatnot. So the public, need to be, as far as infrastructures, digital technologies is the same, applies, be it conventional or Islamic. So depends on the board directors of the bank strategies, whether they want to do, a larger scale or piece by piece. Because I mentioned to you, it involve operating cost to the bank because it kind of investment, and the technology is run very fast. Sometimes you adopt the system, but if you realize after 5 years the system is outdated, so then you need to engage another technology. All right, it is costing. So of course, before you invest in this kind of technology, you need to be further studied which technology is suitable for you. So as far as Malaysia is concerned, we're running Tawaruk. So we engage BISAS, BISAS to help the entire modus operandi of Taruk. That is the kind of technology that we helps to cater the. In other words, having technology will help Sharia compliance because everything will be run by the by the system itself. If we do it that manually, perhaps some sequence of the contracts it been lapsed, technical labs, operational labs, and that we cater in the end the entire modus operandi of the contract itself void. So I hope I answered all the question by the by the participant in this course.
Okay, thank you, Professor. Thank you, Professor Zakhiri. Maybe we have a little time. Maybe I give a chance for the participant. If you have question, maybe you can raise your hand in this Zoom. Maybe one of you, the participant. We have a little time. Maybe for one question. Wow, this is Professor from Gilang Rahmat. Yeah. He has the only one question. How to make people who are predominantly Muslim use Islamic bank instead of conventional banks? Yes, Prof.
First and foremost, we need to know about halal and barakah. Halal income and barakah.
Okay.
So if you put whatever interest in conventional banking, you cannot consider it as an income. You need to channel it to charity. By Islamic bank, whatever money that we invested, been invested in Sharia compliant manner. So whatever profit that we get is halal one. Bring barakah to our family and the like. After all, some of the money already been purified because of the income is been, taxable, already paid the zakat and whatnot. So that is basically, and then the strategies in Malaysia is that, even though we run the parallel, say for example, we have Maybank conventional and Maybank Islamic. So if the customer is a Muslim, so the people at the counter says, hey, we need to subscribe to Islamic product first. Islamic banking product first. Okay? Islamic banking product first. So that is basically the duty of the bank, the officers of the bank. You are Muslim, so you need to prioritize to Islamic banking product first. So you need to explain about the halal, the barakah, where the money goes, and the like. So at the school level, it's about education. About education, it's not about the profit income and the like. It's all about business and trade that need to be tailored with Sharia requirements. Sharia requirements. But in Malaysia strategies, we do the campaigns, Islamic banking product first.
Okay, Prof. Maybe this is the last question for me, Prof. This is very, according to my perspective, yeah. In Malaysia, Islamic banking more growth from Indonesia. Even Indonesia, the majority of Muslim, but in Malaysia, the Islamic banking is more growth from than Indonesia. I want to know what is the script to make Islamic banking grow in Malaysia.
Well, as I mentioned to you, we have the strategy. The government of Malaysia take the step-by-step approach. First, we established way back in 1980. We established purely Islamic banking. We set up Islamic banking, Islamic bank entity. Then we realized Islamic bank you need to run with conventional banking. So those days we have M.Ag only. M.Ag conventional, but we start with window Islamic unit in conventional banking, and then this unit growing because when the Muslim consumer come in, you say, well, you need to take Islamic banking product. We do campaign. So in this unit growing. So at one time, government and Central Bank of Malaysia say, well, we need to establish M.Ag Islamic Sdn Bhd. So now got two different entities, right? Two different entities, M.Ag Sdn Bhd, which is conventional. Now we have M.Ag Islamic Sdn Bhd, different entity. Previously, all the treasury that is the fund of the bank commingle between conventional and Islamic. Now we already separate the fund. Conventional banking is one fund. M.Ag Islamic is one fund. There is no commingling of the fund. So at the beginning, we do not have choice. We have no choice. We need to commingle between conventional and Islamic. But as far as the business is growing, we start to establish separate entity, right? Now they got M.Ag Islamic and conventional Islamic. But as a Muslim, we wake up so we just go to Islamic Bank Berhad. For sure, all the entire product services is Islamic. So that is how the secret that we have.
Okay.
And of course, with strong support from Central Bank of Malaysia itself.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Maybe we have about to finish today, and I would like to ask you the closing statement, Prof.
Okay.
The closing statement,
Right.
statement, a short statement.
Okay.
In this topic.
So whether we like or not, technology will embrace us. So we need to adapt ourselves to the technology, be it banking sector or we as an individual. So we need to learn the technology, otherwise we left behind. Right? Nowadays people talking about cashless society. If you go to cross border, if you don't bring your smartphone, you die.
Okay.
All right. So that is
Right.
basically we need to adapt ourselves to the changes and digitalization.
It means this is very important in our life, Prof.
Yeah.
Handphone. Okay.
Without handphone, we die.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Prof. Professor Dr. Zakhiri, for your explanation about Islamic banking digital, and maybe give applause to our professor today. Applause. Okay.
Can we have a group photo?
Oh yeah, Prof. This is the
Sure.
last. Okay.
Right.
Okay, for the professor, I hope you open your video. We would like to take a photo. Okay, please open your video. The participant. Gilang Rahmat, Alvan Zikria, Anidia Yudin, Nung, Poppy Widi, and us. Please open your video. Ya, ini. Okay, Prof. Ya. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. We open your video. Others? Okay. Okay. Participant? Okay. Huh? Okay. For the student, you should fill the present, yeah, present, yeah. Attendance of participant in column, yeah. You should fill the attendance for participant. Okay, operator, take the picture. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Give your smile, the best your smile. Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Professor. May Allah give you health and your time for giving your knowledge to other people. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much
Okay.
to Universitas Muhammadiyah
Okay.
Surakarta, Faculty of Law. Thank you, Ran. Until
Amin.
we meet again, inshallah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi
Waalaikumsalam.
wabarakatuh. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Okay, for other participant, we have the second section will be held and 4 p.m. 4 p.m. Betul nggak sih jam sore? Iya jam sore ya. Jam sore. Asa Arabiah masaan ya. Mungkin huna atolib min Arab ya. Nabda fi firqa asaniyah fi sa'a Arabiah. Tamam ya. Yeah, I hope you don't leave. Maybe we can leave for the boleh oh yeah. You can leave from this room. Maybe you have not take a lunch. You have not take pray. You can do that. Okay. We see you at 4 p.m. Okay. Thank you very much. I am Junif. I apologize if you find some mistake for me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
You will see what you mean to me. Such a heart, such a soul. And when you find me there, you'll search no more. Don't tell me it's not worth trying for. You can't tell me it's not worth many things I wish I didn't do, but I continue learning. I never meant to do those things to you, and so I have to say before I go that I just want you to know I found a reason for me to change who I used to be, a reason to start over new, and the reason is you. I'm sorry that I hurt you. It's something I must live with every day.